Here's my setup. I've got a mill sandwich. I've got the new mill with the 15mm rails on the Y and the 20mm rails on the X. And I've got that clamped down to the bed of my manual mill. Got all the gibs locked on the manual mill. And we're just going to see how this thing cuts. I haven't made any adjustments at all to anything other than I just kind of lubricated everything, screwed it together. I haven't done any shimming or anything, so we're going to do some cuts, mess around, and take a look at what the results are. I've got a 6mm carbide end mill, 4 flute. I'm doing pretty much a full cut. I'm going to be going down 1mm. My feed rate's 180mm per minute, and the spindle speed's going to be about 1800. This is 200mm a minute. Alright, so I'm going to try to do some face milling. I'm going to start out at 200mm a minute and then maybe ramp up with the feed overrides. This is 300mm a minute. It's 400mm a minute. That actually sounds pretty good. Not that well. So here's the surface finish. It feels a little lippy. It looks about as good as I would normally get on this mill. Here's the part we just did on the surface plate. This is hundredths, or one division is 0.002 millimeters. So I'll just go ahead and run this around. So the surface finish isn't great, but it is a roughing cutter. So it's actually pretty flat, which is surprising. I really didn't expect that. I did do some just scanning of the surface of the 1 inch plate, and it's definitely not flat. So I have to do some more testing. It seemed like front to back, over 6 inches, it was out about, I want to say, 1/3 of a millimeter. This way, on the back rail was really nice and flat. On the front rail, I think there was some wonkiness. So it is going to take a little bit of shimming, but this small part doesn't really seem to show. There's no twist. Looking for any shiny spots that might indicate anything wonky. I don't really see anything. Let me just give this a rub on the 500 grit. So yeah, it's I mean, there's no major high spots coming off of there. So yeah, I mean, with no tuning, I'd say that's a real nice result. So I'm going to continue with the headstock. I don't think there's any mechanical issues. I think I think I can get the column on that actually stiffer. It's going to have a couple big fat linear rails on it and some other stuff. And we'll see. I hope it's actually a bit more stout. The head is going to be generally going to be cutting closer to the material, so there's less lever effect. And in the position I was just testing is pretty high up the column. The further up the column, the bigger the lever action is on the head, and that's gonna reduce the overall rigidity. So anyway, I'm gonna work on the head, and I think this is a good result for a test. I really wanted to make sure those 15 millimeter rails weren't going to be a big problem, and 12 millimeter cutters. If I can run 12 millimeter cutters at those speeds, I'm fine. I was really targeting 8 to 6 millimeter at the max, so I'm pretty happy with the result. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below, and thanks for watching.